Today, I'm going to show you how to add videos to an interactive mobile project using Adobe InDesign. Follow along this lesson and learn how to use the media panel to place MP4 videos in a layout, add custom poster frame thumbnails, and set up scrolling frames. As a final step, we'll export the project as a fixed layout EPub and view it in Apple Books on an iPhone. So let's jump right into this lesson and start creating. All right, let's start things off by creating a new document. So I'm going to click on New File. That'll bring up my new document window. I'm going to select the Mobile tab and then choose iPhone X. You can see in the width field, that's 1125 pixels by 2436. Portrait orientation. Let's uncheck primary text frame. We won't need that for what we're doing today. Let's scroll down, and in the margins, instead of 36, let's make it 72. Just hit your tab key and that will change the other fields. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click Create. I want to add a little bit more space on the vertical pasteboard. So let's go up to the InDesign dropdown, go to Preferences, and then choose Guides and Pasteboard. In the vertical margins, let's add 2000 pixels and just hit OK. If you see, if I scroll down now, I have more space down below to work with. Only because this is going to be a mobile device layout, we want to make sure that we have enough space as we're working, and then when we add the scrolling frames as well. In the height field in our document, temporarily as we work, I want to make this a little bit deeper. So I'm going to change that to 5000 and just hit Tab again, and you can see that the page becomes much longer. That's okay. That helps you as you're working, and then once you have the layout set, we can go ahead and take it, put it in a scrolling frame, and then add the video, and you'll see how that works just as we move along here. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to go to my CC libraries, and you can see I have all the assets for this tutorial here, but once again, I'll add them into a downloadable folder. I'll put the link in the description below where you can click, download, and follow along. I'm going to click on the rectangle frame tool and go ahead and draw out a rectangle roughly the size of where the video will go. I'm going to go back to my selection tool and give it a fill color of this blue that I have in the CC libraries. Now I can start adding the content underneath. You can see the space here is where the first video will go. I'm going to bring in this Denver Donuts logo. So this is for a fictional company called Denver Donuts, and the project is just to highlight some of their top selling donuts and their top flavors. So that's good for now. I'm just going to bring that up a bit. I also have an image here that I want to bring in of the CEO and founder of Denver Donuts. Now, if I drop this in, it's going to be quite large, so I'm just going to hold my Shift key and drag. Then I can reposition this the way I want. So I'm going to click ironically, the donut grabber, and Option Command, and then less than to scale it down. And then just bring that up, and I'm going to position her right to the left here. I'm going to bring it up just a bit, and I'm going to move her to the left so it's touching the margin. Perfect. Because I have some text here that I'm going to add to the right of her, and I'm going to bring that in now. So I'm just going to be copying and pasting this from an existing text edit file, which I'll also include in the downloads. So you can use live text and not lorem ipsum. I always suggest use live text when you're doing even personal projects or just practicing. Now I'm going to make this, this will be called CEO name. Perfect. So this is Samantha Gregerson. I have a different style for founder and baker here. I've created these paragraph styles in advanced as well. This one's called title. Perfect. A quick tip on how to have a text frame close easily and quickly is just double click any of the handles and it'll make it snug around the text. I'm going to zoom in here a bit, and I'm going to grab the short description of Samantha here and paste that in. Just gonna also make it so it snaps to the right hand margin. I'm gonna Command A to select all, go back to paragraph styles, and this will be body text. Perfect. Now I can just double click. Great, now I can move on. I'm gonna just bring this down here so it's centered to her a bit. Let's see how that looks if I just zoom out, or even let's have it so it's aligned at the bottom. I like that. Perfect. And if you wanted to, you could also, I have a lot of lines that I'm using in this layout. So I'm just going to create a line rule there. Go to my properties panel and give it a very thin stroke of either 0.25 or 0.5. You could do that. And you can see now she's coming out of that line. I'm just going to send that line or bring it to the front, which is good. Perfect. So now I can start adding some of the donuts. I'm going to bring this down a little bit here. Good. Move down, put your guides back on by just clicking W on your keyboard to turn them on from going to preview mode and then mode with your guides on. Let's go back to the CC libraries. I'm going to bring in this first donut and click just to drop it in. I'm going to crop it a bit, and again, I'm going to have this line maybe come in so it's coming out of the line like so, which kind of gives it a cool reveal kind of design. So I'm going to zoom in a bit here, make that line just a little bit wider. And then let's go ahead and bring in some of the other text. So this one will be called the strawberry sprinkle. So I'm just going to copy that and paste. I'm going to align it like so. And this is kind of designing on the fly, so to speak, but you get a sense of how to place your text just by simply copying and pasting it. Let's go to paragraph styles and body text. Let's select strawberry sprinkle only, go to paragraph style, and this is donut header 1. Okay. Let's see if I can add a little bit more space here after the paragraph. So this is how you add space after a paragraph. So strawberry sprinkle, put your cursor at the end point after the E, and then in your properties panel, there's something called here space after. So if you increase that, it'll increase the space after that point. Okay, so I have it set to 10 right now. So instead of going ahead and recreating this, I'm just going to select it and then add another one here. Now I want to flip-flop these, so this is on this side and put the donut on the other side. Okay. And I'm going to flush right this text. So another shortcut for that, of course, you can always use your alignment options up here. But if you want to do things on the fly, Shift Command R is a quick way of flush right, or aligning your text to the right. And then of course I just have to change this to vanilla sprinkle, and let's change the text here. Let's add the vanilla sprinkle text. Perfect. I'm going to go to my CC libraries, grab the sprinkle vanilla sprinkle donut. I'm just going to drag and hover over, and I'm going to hold my Option key, Alt on Windows, go over the image that you want to replace, hold Option and click, and it'll just update that right in the same frame. Now, because it's a different size, you might have to alter it a bit, but at least it's in there at the size you want and it's replaced. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move this up a bit. And so now let's go ahead and grab both of these, hold Option on Windows, Option on Mac, Alt on Windows, drag to create 2 more copies. It's just an easier way of working rather than recreating all of this. So now we're on Mocha Caramel. I'm gonna copy and paste that right into this. And let's just replace this text, Mocha Caramel. I'm gonna have that go over 2 lines. So I'm just gonna do a soft return, hold Shift and then press return. Let's delete that. That's good for now. Again, let's click on the Mocha donut. drag it onto the page, hold Option, hover over the image you want it to replace, and then just click, and it will replace that image. Perfect. So now I can go in, grab the content grabber. This needs to be smaller. It's also important to make sure that your donuts, or whatever you're working with, really, donuts in this case, make sure that they're around roughly the same size. Okay. So you could also have these lines go all the way across if you want, just to add a little bit more separation, which is fine. I kind of like having it just through the donut. You can also add more space between each donut and description as well. Okay, we have one more here. Let's go ahead, and this is chocolate dip sprinkle. Replace that. Oops, let's just actually put that in. Chocolate dip soft return sprinkle. And then you can grab the text that goes with it. And you paste that in there. And of course, I've done these previously, so they do fit. And you know what I'm gonna do is actually have the lines line up with the bottom of the text. You'll just have to go in and maneuver that a bit. Just looks a little bit cleaner. To have that line align with the bottom of the text is better. Let's do the same thing here. Just move that down so it's aligning with the bottom. Perfect. And we just have one more here. Let's double click that and then bring it down. And then let's just move that line a little bit to the left. Perfect. So what I could do now actually is make sure that there's equal space or enough space. So what I do is Command G to group the first one, group that second one, group the third one, and then group that last one. And then kind of play around. I'm gonna move strawberry sprinkle up a bit. You wanna make sure that you're aligned to the selection, and then you can go ahead and distribute the vertical centers. And you can see there's equal space between each donut and description. Now I'm gonna grab all of this and just move it up a bit. Of course, you don't want everything congested here, but you want enough space that it looks comfortable as well. Let's move this Denver Donuts logo down. Next, we're gonna add the space for the secondary video and then finish this off with some other content down below. I'm gonna click the rectangle frame tool once again and draw out a rectangle that's about that size. I'm gonna click on the selection tool again, and let's give it a fill of that blue color once again. So the remaining content will go in this area here. Now I've already copied it. I'm just gonna paste the rest of the content in this area, and then we'll move on to how to add video. So I'm just gonna put that content in. So this area right here above these donuts, so this is just some more flavors, how to order online, and that space is reserved for another video. So we have two videos to put in, one at the very top where that blue color is, and right there where this color is. So let's go to the top and let's start there. For this part, you're going to need the media panel. And to access that, go up to Window, Interactive, and select Media. I'm gonna tear it off here so we can have a closer look. And so the media panel acts as your kind of one-stop shop to either play in a loop, add your poster, but more importantly, it's where you add the video itself. Now I should mention, I'm going to include the videos with this tutorial, but these are from Pexel's video, and I'll link the specific videos if you want to check them out on Pexel's as well. So I'm going to go to my media panel, and in the bottom right hand corner there's an icon here to place a video or audio file. So this works the same way for audio, for an MP3 for instance. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it takes me to my project videos. You can see I have video 1 and video 2. I'm going to click on video 1 and click open, and you can see it's in my loaded cursor. Now, oftentimes I found that if you drag out the video, it might not display the way you want. So I always find that just click anywhere on the pasteboard to drop it in. And then you can see that there's a little preview of the video here in the media panel. So if you see that, you've placed the video properly, you've placed it correctly. So I'm gonna hold my Shift and Command and drag that down. I'm gonna put my guides back on, so click W, and I want the top left-hand corner to be on that edge of the margin. And then with this handle here, let me zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. I'm gonna hold Shift and Command again and scale it down, okay? That's the easiest way I find to place video and have it so it's not going to come in at this large size or mess with the display. Now this background blue color, I'm just gonna pull that up maybe to the halfway point or something like that. I also wanna click this video that we have and give it a stroke, maybe a 6.7 point stroke. Let's go 8 and let's make it white. So let's do that. This way you get this cool kind of edge here, this little separation. Let me show you if I turn my guides off. See that edge or that little separation from the background color? Just a nice touch. So if I click this here, I can play this and it gives me a little preview here, which is great. So it's showing that it does work. This video is a very short clip. It's only 6 seconds. It's an MP4. And so it's a short clip, no sound, but sound in a video will still work in InDesign. This one does not have sound. There are a couple other options here that you can look after. You could play on page load. So if you want this to play once the page is loaded, you're gonna check that on. If you want the user experience to be the viewer to click and have that control, then don't check that. Also, if you want this to play in a loop, you would have that selected. The other thing here is adding a poster frame. So this is essentially the thumbnail to your video. So of course you can choose a current frame within the video, but oftentimes maybe the video quality or there isn't a frame in the video that you want to use that would look nice with the layout, right? Because this is important. You want the user to, you want to engage the user and entice them to watch that video. So you can choose from a current frame. You can use the scrubber or the play control here to find one that you like, and then you would just refresh, right? You would just click this refresh button, and that would refresh to that next frame that you wanted to choose. But let's just say I wanted to add my own, okay? So you saw here, you can also choose an image, and I'm gonna do just that. So I'm just gonna go to Content folder, Poster Images, and First Vid Cover. Let's click Open, and you can see that puts in the image that you have. If you wanna make it fit, just go to Shift, Option, Command, C. Let me click off. So now I've added my own custom image to this. If I click it, you can see the video will still play. Now, of course, the secondary image that I'm going to show you on the second video, I've added the logo. So you could design this in Photoshop, size it to what your specs are, and then add that as a thumbnail. Or just use a secondary image that might look better than just a frame in the video. So I'm just going to move this up to reduce that space, move this up to reduce that space. And of course, once you get your videos in, you get more of a sense of how everything will look, how everything will fit as well. So let's move Samantha back up. I should spell her name right. So let's do that. So that is set. Let me bring that up a bit more. And let's see how the overview looks here. Yep, it's looking good. So now I can bring in the second video as well. And like I said, that's going in this space here. So let's do the same thing. Let's click on the place a video or audio file. Let's go get the video that we want. So video 2, open. It might be good to zoom out when you drop it in. So click anywhere on the pasteboard. This one's not too bad. I've seen videos come in really large, which might take a little more extra time to scale it down. But hold Shift Command, that's Shift Control on Windows, drag it in to make it smaller. And let's go ahead, I'm gonna put my guides on. Snap one of the edges to the margin and then scale it down. Now I want this hanging over like so. And again, let's give this a stroke of 8. I think that's what I gave the first one. And this one will also be white. So again, you get that separation with the border on the video. All right, let's add the second poster to this. Again, if I preview it, it looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and click the poster frame, choose the image that you want. Go get the image where you saved it, so poster images, and second vid cover. Click open, and you can see that one fits a lot better. I'm going to Shift Option Command C. And so with this one, just in Photoshop, I added the logo to some negative space in that image. Just adds a little bit more. I'm just gonna put the media panel back, and I'm gonna zoom out. With the selection tool, I'm gonna go ahead and select everything and do Command G. You can also go to Object and Group. If you're on Windows, that's Control G. So I'm going to Command X to cut this. Go back to my Properties panel, and let's go to iPhone X under the Document drop-down. So we're back to the initial size. Let's go to the Rectangle Frame tool and draw out a rectangle that covers the entire page. And then right-click with the selection tool, right-click, and then paste into. You see that pasted the entire document, or the entire layout, I should say, into that container. Double-click and it's still grouped. I'm going to hold my Shift key down and drag the layout down so it makes sense. And you can see we're gonna add a scrolling frame to this container. And so everything under here will be scrollable once we view it in the EPub reader. So click on this once. I'm gonna go to Window, Universal Scrolling Frames. Again, this is from Ajar Productions, so you're gonna need the In5 extension to access this. Once again, I'll put that link in the description so you can access the scrolling frames as well. Okay, so let's go to the scroll direction will be vertical. You can hide the scroll indicators if you want. I'm gonna leave them on, and that's it. It's simple as that. I'm gonna close that, and if I go to any of the preview panels and open it in the EPub preview window, you can see that you'll be able to do a little preview with the scroll. So here it is here, and you can see that the video, if I play it, it will play. You could use that in the EPub preview window. But the cool thing is here, I can actually scroll down. You can see the rest of the layout, and there's the secondary video. So what I'm gonna do now is export this as an EPub fixed layout, and we'll open it in Apple Books and view it on an iPhone. All right, to export the project, go up to File and Export. You wanna make sure that you have the format set to EPub fixed layout. I'm just going to overwrite what I already have here. You just click Replace. That'll bring up the fixed layout export options. You can look after some of these settings. One of the important ones is the viewing apps. Because I'm on an Apple, it'll automatically open in Apple Books. If you're on an Android, something like Google Play Books might work, or even Adobe Digital Editions. Go ahead and click OK. I have mine open. I want to show you how it looks on the desktop version in Apple Books. I'm going to double click that. And you can see that the video will play. The first one plays, but you notice that it came in with the thumbnail, the poster frame cover that we set. If I go down below, the scrolling frame works. I can click the one at the bottom, and that one works as well. All right, so I'm testing out the project on my mobile device here. You can see that I'm scrolling through. That works great. The videos work as well. I can go down to the bottom one and let's check that one out. Yeah, that works as well. So it's a great way of adding videos to an interactive mobile project using Adobe InDesign. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to add videos to an interactive mobile project all using Adobe InDesign. Hit the like button and leave a comment if you found this lesson helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest tutorial content published every other week. If you'd like to learn more about interactive design using Adobe InDesign, check out this playlist right up here. Until then, take care and keep creating.